is Munuki at the top.
Yeah.
Yes, they scored 37 goals. And there was no team that scored more than Munuki, by the way.
Sure.
Amarante scored 36, Munuki scored 37,
Yeah.
and that's why both of them are competing for the title. And if we look at the point gap, is a difference of 4 points. Munuki at 47, ending the season with 47 points, and of course Amarante United with the 43 points.
Yeah.
So where did it go wrong for both teams, or where do they need to strengthen? If you are winning a title, let's do a simple mathematics. You have 22 games in the previous season, by the way. This coming season, they are going to play 13. I mean, that is 24 games.
24, because there will be 12.
Yes. First round, you play 13, 13 games. Second round, you play as well 13. It is a total of
26.
So 26 is a good number of games.
Sure.
But let's talk about the 22 games. 22 games, you're fighting for 66 points in total.
Yeah.
So 66 points, if we subtract 66 minus 47, how many points did Munuki miss? So if we look at that gap of Munuki's caliber, if they are to replicate the title come next season, they need to set a target of more than 47 points. So where do they need to improve? Munuki need to improve in the attack, at the same time in defense. They scored 37 goals.
Yeah.
They had very nice, a good defensive record because they conceded 18 in total.
Yeah.
So I think whoever that is going to come on board as the coach, or maybe the current coach is going to continue, is to balance the two. We need to score more goals
And defend.
we need to be more defensive, a unit. We need to defend, and we need to fight for more clean sheets.
Okay.
You know, when you have more clean sheets, then you win more points. So if Munuki is to replicate and fight for the title, then they should set themselves for above 50 points in order to clinch the title with come next season. So if you go for 50 points, how many points do they need to top up on this, on the 47?
That's
to make 50.
Those are 3 points.
3 points to make 50.
Yes.
So to fight for the 3 points, then you need to improve your defensive line. You know, you're going to fight 26 points. If we multiply that by 3, the number of points for you to win title is going to be higher than when it was 22 games that you were playing for. So for Munuki, one thing I would see, or maybe that the area that they need to strengthen in, one, defensive, yes, they conceded 18 goals, but I thought they can do better than that. Because if we look at, I think the team that had the best defensive record
was Zakator.
Was Qatar FC.
They considered 12.
12 goals considered.
Sure.
So Qatar also needs to work on that. So Munuki should do better up that record of conceding goals.
Okay.
You know, if you conceded 18 and you scored 37, the gap is not that big. So now you need to better your defensive records. They need to sign 1 or 2 defenders. For that matter, they are losing 2 defenders already.
Okay.
That are out of
First
contract,
team.
and these are first team status. So it's automatic that Munuki will need to reinforce in defense and as well striking. You know, the front players. The front players need to be strengthened. How about the midfield? I think they have got a couple of exciting players in the midfield.
Yeah. Their captain, Chang, is doing well.
They have good number of players in the midfield.
Ferregrino Ladu is doing well.
If they do not have enough financial muscle to strengthen in the midfield, I don't think it's a requirement for them now. What they need is to look for the forward players. They have exciting wingers, but they need a really striker. I've talked about this even before the season ended.
Yeah.
Munuki needs a typical striker. And it was the same thing that I talked about Qatar yesterday. So if they can get a top striker, then they will be notching in those goals. If you notch in goals, then you need to defend them.
Sure.
Top scorer came from Munuki, that was Jack James. So out of the 37 goals scored for Munuki,
18 of them came from Jack James.
From Jack James. So how many assists did he have in the game? I think close to 6 or more than that.
And he had a couple of some hat-tricks.
Yes. So if you add the assist that he had to the goals he scored, that means he almost contributed half of the goals he scored by Munuki.
Yeah.
And that tells you the responsibility of Munuki's goals is being shouldered by one player. So what happens next season if teams are going to, work towards stopping Jack James from scoring goals?
Yeah.
What will happen to Munuki? It's going to be a problem. So if the teams realize the danger area or the danger man for Munuki is Jack James, we need to work and they stop him. We make games difficult for him and not allow him to get close to where he can have a chance of scoring goals. Then Munuki's records of scoring goals will drop. So that's why I've said Munuki really need to strengthen their attack.
Okay, Munuki FC, the Snakes, and I know most of your fans, most of the administrators are watching. This is a great show, the Drive program that comes every single Sunday. So those are the words from the owner clan, that is Kayaga. John, how about you, who is watching us? Where do you think the Snakes need to reinforce? Is it the striking force? How about if Jack James at one point, we don't of course preempt for that, or we don't think of that. If he gets an injury, where there's that opportunity that Munich can also use for a player to also get those goals that Jack James is slotting at the back of the net, and perhaps to also defend the league very well. Where do you think, or who do you think should be signed for by the Snakes in order for them to also really go wholeheartedly to compete for the Juba Local League trophy that as well is coming your way, by the way. It is the transfer season, and in a couple of some weeks this will end and the league will definitely kick off. But let's move on, Kayenga John, and let's talk about yet another exciting club. And here we'll talk about the Skyscrapers. Amarat United, very fantastic team with, of course, goals coming in from at different angles of the players. Talk about the recent results, winning 1-0, another 1-0, 2-1. That kind of winning mentality, that tells you that the team is actually really struggling in terms of goal scoring opportunities. And perhaps maybe the link between the midfield and the striking is not clicking. So if you are Coach William Mayan, in his capacity, if he will still be in charge, yeah, that is per se, where do you think this club, the Skyscrapers, that have so far represented this nation in continental competitions?
It's one of the teams I really expect in the top 6 to go all out and sign players. They had, outflow of players.
Yeah.
They lost a couple of good team starters.
Starting with Power Steven.
Yes, the likes of Maker, who's now at Zesco.
Emmanuel,
yes,
Thomas, Lumeri, Jack James.
As well. Bibo. As well.
Yeah.
They lost a couple of good players. The replacements for these players, I think, were not, close to what they have lost. And that's where you look at it and you begin to say, this is one team that should go out and really sign players. Yes, they sometimes squeeze these kind of results of 1-0 and perhaps maybe 2-1. You go on to win it and you clean the 3 points.
Yeah.
For how long is that going to continue? For you to challenge for a title, sometimes you need to be comfortable.
That's true.
Playing against the top 6 teams. If you are in the top 6, then you're fighting against the top 5. Because the 5 teams that you're competing for the title with, you must get points off them. And for you to do that, yes, sometimes you can be lucky and win by a single goal or margin of a single goal, and you get all the 3 points, but it might not be the same story every now and then.
Yeah.
So I expect Amarat to really strengthen from the defense to the front line. So I expect at least 6 to 7 players to come at Amarat if they are real to maintain the momentum or to be a title contender come next season. Remember, the number of teams are going to increase. That means you have a number of games that 2 more extra to what they used to play.
Yep.
Previously it was 11 games in the first round, so you need to manage the 11 games. Now it's going to be a total of 13 games with addition of 2 more. It's going to be a little bit tricky. How you drop points, how you get points, it's where it will be necessary for any team that will be vying for a top spot. So if we look at Amarat, I still expect them to get 3 defenders, 1 central defender, and I feel they need fullbacks.
Okay.
If we look at the fullbacks of Amarat United, they have not been consistently performing for the club. I still feel one central defender that can partner Chris in that defense of Amarat. And you have a fullback that is comfortable going forward and dropping back. Just as the left side and the right side to join and help the attack for Amarat United. Midfield, I still feel they really need a defensive midfielder. You know, a midfielder that sits in front of the back four. Because since they lost Maker to Bunuki, I don't think they got a right replacement. He was one of the players that sits in that midfield of Amarat United and, you know, makes things possible for Amarat to build from behind. And like I always say, for you to build from behind, you need two things. A good goalkeeper that is good at playing the ball, which they already have, and a deep line midfielder, that is a defensive midfielder, who is good at linking the play with attacking midfielders up front. So if we can get the two, then you're good to build the ball from behind or build your game from behind. So if they can get a defensive midfielder that is good at playing the ball or playing passes from behind and has an eye for wider players, who is making the run and who is in a better position that I can give this ball to, then it will be an advantage to them. And I still feel they need a creative midfielder. They have been relying so much on 2 or 3 players. Mimisco, which is Omar Duarte, who is a free agent now. We don't know whether he will be renewed or not. You have Biko, that is Biko James. He's one of the exciting and talented players, or creative players for that matter, in Amarat United. But then you need more than that. You know, you need creativity going forward. So you still feel they should have an attacking midfielder and a striking line. I think this is where they really need to strengthen with the 2 or 3 players up front. You know, if you can score 1 goal and win a game with it, how about you get a team that scores more goals than you do? And defensively, they are good. You're going to find it difficult to break them down, but they are going to definitely score against you. You know, there are these opponents that you're going to meet. There's a high possibility they can score because they do not waste their chances. And defensively, they are good. So 1 goal might not help you in such a situation. So you need players that can score. Players that can score at will. Players that can create for them chances. You know, in a football game, you might meet a team that is going to make it difficult for you to break down. Then you need players who break down defense. You know, individual. That is individual brilliance. And I think it's one aspect that Amarat really needs to focus and work on it. Yes, they have exciting young players coming through that we saw playing last season. But still, if you're competing for a title and you want to represent Juba local league at the national level and perhaps go out, then you need better experienced players.
You need better and experienced players as well. Amarat United, apparently most of their players that they get mostly coming in from the Lumbek local league there, and that is really evidence the fact that they are actually like using some of the clubs in the Lumbek local FA as the academies where they go bring in players, and when they come to the club, they just pick from where they left. Superb. And they just fitted very well. That is a conversation that definitely we also need to pick from. How about them saying, okay, can we also look at other directions and we see if we can also get players maybe from other clubs to be part of the development at Amarat United?
Yes, it's a possibility. You know, it's down to financial muscles.
That is another point, surely.
You are financially. You know, if you're financially stable, like we always say, transfers in South Sudan or perhaps Juba for that matter depends on individual contributions or someone pulling money out of his personal account, because some of the teams are really not generating income.
That's true.
If they do, it's at minimum rate and cannot go out and sign for you top players that you might end up spending over $10,000, $15,000 per player. But yet, still, like you said, yes, someone can see within. I like recommending some of the academies that we have in the country.
Yeah.
If you feel like you can also go to other local football associations and sign other exciting players. I think it is now going to rely on the network of your scouts.
Yeah.
You know how good you have set up your scouting network. Who are the players that you feel can come in and fill the gaps at the club?
Yeah.
Especially what we are talking about, the loopholes that you feel needed to be filled. So if they can identify the right players at affordable rates, I think it will work for them.
Okay.
There are those players that are free agent currently. If we look at Juba Local League, there are a lot of players that are free agent. Yes, these are players, if we feel they can fit in your system and suits your club, why not engage them and negotiate with them and see how best you can go forward with them. Going to Rumbek, yes, as of now, I think Zalan is the top team that side.
Yeah.
They're already competing. They are going to participate in the CAF Champions
in the CAF Champions League.
So are they going to allow some of their players to leave in this window? I doubt. They are going to hold on to some of their players, and especially the key players. Instead, they need more players to join to give them the boost ahead of the CAF Champions League preliminary round. So it's going to be difficult for them this time round to go and look at the players that competed recently in the National League. Some of these players that recently participated in the National League, they are really exciting players.
Very exciting.
They need just someone who can nurture them to be what they can be, in their career. So if we can go to Superstars, you go to Yambio Stars, you go to Hinata FC,
you go to Gadashia of Rank,
you go to Al-Qadashia of Rank, and so many other clubs that did take part in this competition. You might identify some exciting talents that you can tap in, come and nurture them. If you sign players this season, we do not expect miracles to happen.
Sure.
For them to pick up immediately and begin to fight for the title, it's going to be a process. Even we were talking yesterday about Melikia, adding few individuals to the ranks, which we still expect more that might come through. But then you have these exciting players. They're still coming new to the club. They have a lot to learn. Will they be able to pick it immediately for this season? That is a question that remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, fans should not pressurize too much, because you are signing these players. You have a plan, you have a target that you really want to achieve, maybe in the next 2 or 3 seasons. All right,
that is a word from Kayaga John. Fans, don't expect too much, because some of these players that these clubs are bringing will still need some time for them to adapt into the system of the coaches. Coaches have different ways, they have different alternatives, they have different tactics when it comes to game approaches, and they have to be given time for them to impress. Just like the way Munich FC, when they went on for Macaire, they went on for Emmanuel Thomas, and so forth. So everyone was like, okay, I think this is the team to watch. Anyway, yes, it's indeed the team to watch, and they won the Juba Local League, and that is evidenced. But let's not put them into a lot of pressure, but let's just welcome them and see if they can really be fitted into the club, so that they can really pick up from there. As we go to the Loberas, and we talk about Katori FC. Katori FC has already a new signing. But before we talk about that, if you're an Amarad United fan, where do you think your club needs to strengthen in? You've been watching them, you've been following them throughout the season, and you feel that there is something that needed to be done for that club, for them to really compete favorably when it comes to the 2022-2023 season. Let's move to the Loberas and to the church side. Of course, Qatar FC, the Green Army, green and white, is what we're talking about. Walmakwet Aken is one of the players that was confirmed by the club that they have already signed him as a free agent. He moved on from Barara City. I can call it the land of the milk. He was there for almost some good years and competing for that club. That is Barara City. But at the end of the day, he was given a contract extension. That was last year, and it came to an end. So here you are. Yesterday we talked about how Mara United also need to strengthen up front, so that they can get someone who can also slow them the goals. Now, Wal Makwet Aken, you should be remembering him on the 20th of should be August 2018. He was the talk of the town. He was the talk of this country when he scored that brilliant goal against the Uganda Cops. When we beat Uganda under 23 here in Juba Stadium by 2-0 to progress through and play Tunisia. Michael Tako, did open the scoring, and here we had to rely on him. What do you make of that signing, and as well as maybe advising the club to where you feel they should as well strengthen here?
Looked like the management were listening to us yesterday, but this was something that was in a plan. I really recommended a striker for Katoro FC, because if we look at how they were playing last season, when the second half of the season, when they brought in Faisam, yes, there were some positive signs, but he was under immense pressure. Because he needed to score those goals, and sometimes the goals are not coming. You could feel the players frustrated. He's not delivering what is expected of him. So I felt like, you know, he needed someone who can help him to shoulder the responsibility of scoring goals. And if you look at the play of Qatar last season, especially when Faisam came in, he started well when he scored that winning goal
against Atalabara
in the Christmas Cup finals. I think that was his opening game or the second game. He scored a fantastic goal to win the title for Qatar FC 2-1. So that really picked it well. But then in the course of the league, I think, like we always anticipate, he's still learning. He's learning some of his teammates. He's learning how the league is. You know, a lot of things that you need to learn around. But by adding Makwet Ward, I think it's a great statement by Qatar FC. He is a South Sudanese. He has played for the national team for under 20, and that was under 23.
Under 23
against Uganda. He has been engaged in the senior team as well, a couple of occasions. So it's not going to be a totally new environment to him. Some of the colleagues in Katuri might have played alongside them, and he should be very familiar with some of them. Adding him to the ranks is one of the top players. I think, you know, when you just look at him, he's one figure that some defenders will not love to face. You know, you look at his height, which is 1.84. This is a real height of a striker. You look at the aerial threat that he's going to pose to the team. You look at the pace that he has got up front, the finishing touches that he has got in him. I think it's going to be a healthy competition between him and Faisal. Who leads the line. Is the coach going to use 8 of them in a wider area and one because he needs the goals? These are things that we are going to see. Like I said last time, Katur really needed the threats. They needed players that can score goals. We have seen them bring back Limbe from United. They have the likes of that is Odong as well as the team. But they were not doing enough, you know, to really score goals for the Lobberers. If we look at the games that they have played, the game they played against Munuki and against Melekia, you would feel, yes, they needed a natural goal scorer. And that is exactly what they have gone for. So I think the signing of Aken is a spot on for Qatar FC. They have already, there was that talk of Rihan coming as well on board. Defensively in midfield, I think to them, they don't need much of the signing. If Qatar is to go for another signing, apart from Makweth, I think it's just going to be an addition, options. You know, players that have got exceptional skills that they feel they don't have in the team, and they need to add to the team. But they have very exciting squad. You have the likes of Redento that can play as a right back. You have Bangasi who plays as a left back. You have a backup in
the signing from Marabita,
Lino Makana, who plays as a right back. But if they can get another option, which we had them talking about Rihanna and Gael, I think could be a good addition to them. That is one area I really felt like they needed an addition. And I think Yasir should be coming back. They really missed him. They signed him, but I think injuries and other things really affected. Could not play much of the games in the second round. So him alongside Tabani in that central midfield, I mean defense. Then you have one right back and you have Bangas on the other side. You have Makweth Wall. Perhaps I don't know how they are going to fit him. And Faisam as well in that lineup. You have Limbe in that
driving from the other side
of Qatar. I think Qatar is going to be a team to watch.
Okay, all right, we'll be going for a very short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking much more about the 3 clubs. Talk about Atlabara, and we'll also be talking about Al Merrikh, and we'll also be talking about some over the club that we feel we should always have a glimpse about them. But before that, Kayanga John, talk about the recruitment that was done for that is Kator FC, Kayanga John, and we talk about how they actually convinced Peter Sade McCoy. To me, one of the areas that I think they really worked on brilliantly is that heart of the midfield when they brought in Sunday Peter McCoy into their team, bringing from Attila Barra. I still believe that Attila Barra is missing that boy.
They are missing him. If we look at how he's integrating into the squad of Kator FC, I don't think we have ever seen the best of Sunday, you know, in a Kator jersey.
Yeah.
But it's going to come. You know, he's not yet comfortable and feeling freely to play for the Lobberas.
Okay.
But this coming season, I guess, is going to be much more free.
Okay.
And is going to be the real Sunday that we have been watching from Atlabara and as well watching for the national team against the Gambia before sustaining that injury.
Okay.
He's one of the top defensive midfielders that you have got in the team. If Kator can keep hold of Malis,
Yes.
Joseph,
Yeah.
and of course they have Chol Peter, if he's going to be still in the team, these are exciting lads. You know, they are starters now under Coach Stefan for the national team. The experience that they bring back from the national team into the club. Yeah. I'm looking at a prospect of having the three forming a partnership from the club to the national team. So it's going to be something that we will have to watch in the coming few seasons. If Kator can be able to maintain these three players in the club, I think they will go ages over some of the squad that they are going to come up against.
Okay, now perhaps let's talk about the coach. I know you have the experience of being a coach, and because you're currently a coach, you know you have such names in your team. Don't you think that Coach Dr. Peter will have to be scratching his head and was like, okay, which one do I start? Which one do and that is where sometimes if you look critically as a Kator FC and look at some of the games that club is starting, you would wonder that some of the players that you feel should be starting games are not starting, and those that are actually not supposed to start a game are starting. So don't you think that Coach Dr. Peter is actually also somewhere somehow being challenged to pick up a starting 11 for that team?
You know, the best scenario that a coach would love to be in is when you have the headache of who to pick ahead of who. You know, that is the best scenario for a coach. Yes, fans or other stakeholders look at it as a headache. It's bad, but the coaches love it so much. You know, it makes your work to be a bit easier. Again, maintaining such a squad is headache. For reasons, every player at their best want to play games. Okay. You know, keeping them on the bench demoralizes at some point. If they fight hard and you have already decided on your preferred starting 11, you need to make these other players happy. That is where sometimes coaches get it wrong. How to keep these other players who are, you know, options to the starters happy at the club is the major question. You know, how do you go about it? I think that is where sometimes it becomes a little bit tricky, because if you're not going to make the options happier, because you need them to be on the bench, and that's where the rotational kind of play comes in. Sure. Some coaches don't get it correct. You know, when you rotate your squad, there are certain positions they are hard to rotate. You know, these positions make the flow of the game. And if you've seen coaches that try to do rotations, there are certain players they do not rotate. For reasons they are key in how the team functions. Okay. That is where you must pick it correct. So I think it's going to be a joy for Coach Dr. Peter to have such an exciting squad. You know, when you have such an squad, then your excuses are limited. When you lose a game, you know, everybody expects you to be at the top. Like I say, yes, football game is either you draw, you win, or lose. The nature or the way how you lose the game is what matters. If fans are convinced, yes, the team was at their top, but failed to score. Perhaps he hit the bar, crossbar on a couple of occasions. The ball, the keeper was saving. Someone will accept that, yes, we were at the top of our game, but never our day. You know, we were not lucky in front of the goal. So it becomes acceptable to the fans, and they go with the hope of next time when we come out, we must be collecting the 3 points. So I think Coach Peter is going to be one of the exciting coaches if he will remain at Qatar.
Okay, if we remain at Qatar, and that is another speculations as well that we are going to talk about, because one of the coaches as well for one of the clubs within this league is that of Munuki, the Snakes. A lot of speculations that is moving around, movement of coaches here and that. But I think one of the reasons why Dr. Peter was recruited into the Qatar football club coaching department is for him to come and win the league. It's something that he definitely, I mean, unfortunately lost it out. Do you think that this management will still have that trust and say, okay, let's first give him some time and see if he can get what we were expecting from him?
Perhaps, if, you know, going for a coach in the middle of the season, there are a lot that is going through the minds of the management. They must be having a plan for that particular coach, because I don't think you're going to bring a coach for just 6 months and you let the coach go. Perhaps maybe he did not deliver to the expectations, but what were the set objectives from the management to the coach? If he ticked most of the boxes that were given to him by the management, then he should be maintained at the club. You know, changes of coaches brings instability in the teams. Every coach comes with their own style and philosophy of play. And that means, like I said, if a new coach comes here at a club, we have seen that every player wants to impress, because everyone might not be in the plans of the coach. You know, the best the coach can do is to have a 23-man squad, and you have 30 players in that team. Where do you take the 7? That means the 7 are not going to be part of the plan. He's going to rely on the 23 squad. That is the squad he will be using week in, week out. So the 7, if you happen to be among the 7, you're in trouble. And when a new coach comes in,
you'll be blasted.
The 7, some of them might be brought even more. Might be the status for the club, depending on how you impress, on the philosophy or the style of play of the coach. The type of players he needs to implement his tactics on the pitch might be one of the players that were never liked by the previous coach. So it can change from time to time. So whenever there's a change of a coach, there's normally instability in the squad. No player knows where I will be fitting in his plans. So the more the management keeps the coach, it becomes better for the club.
All right, it becomes better for the club. So, viewers, if you've just tuned in, or if you've just joined us, you're watching the tkSPORTS Drive program that comes every single Sunday, and we're glad that you're still glued watching this great program that will definitely be giving you all that you expect. We'll be talking much more, and as well moving to a little bit into the continental, and before that we'll go into the regional, because 2 of our players will be competing in the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup. These and much more will be coming your way. As you keep it there, don't dare move away. Short break. We'll be back and keep it there.
I'm single. I used to play the weekly games, the one of jackpots, and then I see the pictures of the jackpot and the pictures of the lottery. They are like the one of the week and the one of the daily is they are very nice and there is no pending on it. So I choose to take lottery instead of jackpot, so that I will get every day. They just tell me, really, if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I play online. It's just 200.
Just 200. And you become a new millionaire of GSB lottery in South Sudan.
More than exciting. I'm really feeling my life up now. At least I've changed now with GSB. Thanks to GSB. Now plan for a business, my new business.
By grace of God, we will lead you. You are back with a big family, and we are happy for that. So, Philip, I want to express now our appreciation. You see how we are exciting exactly like you. thank you very much for your time. Congratulations. God bless you and lead you to do just good thing with the being a new millionaire in South Sudan GSB lottery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, William. Thank you. I'm 28 years old. I'm single. I used to play the weekly games, the one of jackpots, and then I see the pictures of the jackpot and the pictures of the lottery. They are like the one of the week and the one of the daily is they are very nice and there is no pending on it. So I choose to take lottery instead of jackpot, so that I will get every day. They just tell me really, if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I play online. It's just 200.
Just a new millionaire of GSB lottery in South Sudan.
More than exciting. I'm really feeling my life up now. At least I've changed now with GSB. Thanks to GSB. Now plan for a business, my new business.
By grace of God, we will lead you. You are back with a big family, and we are happy for that. So, Philip, I want to express now our appreciation. You see how we are exciting exactly like you. Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations. God bless you and lead you to do just good thing with the being a new millionaire in South Sudan GSB lottery. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And once again, welcome back from that short break. And you're still watching the tkSPORTS Drive program that comes every single Sunday. We are still glad. Of course, you can also be part and partial through going and sending in your comments or question. We'll be able to access your comments or question in that timeline. Karenga Jonas, we were going to the break. Like we said, speculations here and there. We're meant to understand that Amara United Board of Directors did start for a meeting and the General Assembly. And the news is that Coach William Mayer is no longer part of the technical team. Could that be good news as they look forward to revive the technical bench of that club?
It could be good news to the club if they deemed it
necessary.
It was necessary to take such a decision based on the findings that they have found out. One of the reasons as to why I think such a decision has been reached by the board. Some reports indicated some of the players were losing it out with the coach. You know, towards the closing stages of the league.
Yeah.
Most of the players were not showing up at trainings, and they were expected to play football games for reasons that are best known by the coach. So if there's usually that type of things happening in the club, then something must be wrong somewhere. And that's why the board sat down to reach to such a decision. One of the things that someone needs to know, this is a team that is so much attached to Coach William. He personally started the team way back before getting the team into the division. Yes, anyone can be the founder of the team, but the team, as long as it exists and is registered, then the team becomes more than you.
Sure.
You shouldn't be controlling everything at the club. By doing so, then you are going beyond your limits. You know, it's either ways. Yes, being the founder of the team does not necessarily mean that I should maintain my position as the coach or as the chairman of the board. No, it should be rotational. You know, no one is going to deny the fact that so and so started this team. You know, even if you're no longer at the management or at the board of directors,
At the head.
As the coach,
Yeah.
you will still be remembered, and your advice, your contributions will still be welcomed to the team. So we should learn how to, render our responsibilities when they are deemed no longer necessary. You know, at some point you might have run out of ideas.
Okay.
You need someone that is new, energetic, that can come in with the fresh ideas and see how the team is maintained at the highest level.
Okay.
So if that is the decision the board decided it was worth taking before the transfers and before the start of the preseason, I think it is a great one. Now they need to look for a replacement. They need to look for a coach that comes in and recommends players that needed to be signed and begin the preparation for the preseason and the season ahead. So a lot is going to happen in that particular club.
Now, like you said, a lot is going to be happening in that particular club. Do you think that that news will now convince Michael Umaruate to now put pen on paper and say, let me now stay in this club?
I do not want to say as such, because is he the reason as to why Omar in first place wanted to leave the club? I doubt no. Or I doubt if it was the reason. But yes, if that is the case, I think it's going to be a kind of, like I said, whoever coach that comes to a club, every player wants to know what plan they have got and what kind of football idea they have. Do I fit in that style of play?
Okay.
Am I going to be a part of that coach's plan? You know, every player will give himself a chance to evaluate what the new coach is coming with. So I think it's going to be a great advantage to Amarat to convince some of the players that are out of the contract, like Omar, that look, we have someone new, we have a new setup of the coaching staff, and as well as of the structure, because I meant to understand there's also restructuring of the board. So we have these new individuals in place, and this is the plan for the club. You know, this is the project that we want to work on. If the project interests the player, I think he might end up renewing with the club if they can as well meet his demands that he's putting on the table. But a lot will be happening at Amarat United.
All right, a lot will be happening at Amarat United, the skyscrapers. And here we'll talk about change of management, change, and perhaps also recruitment of players and there. We'll be as well moving to, that is Atilabara FC, and talk about Melekia as well as El Merrick. But before that, we did ask a question that where do you think your club need to be strengthening in? Which positions do you feel they should really strengthen in before they coming up over the league, in whatever league they play in? Is it Torit local league? Is it Yei local league? Is it Meridi local sub-local FA? Is it Yambio? Is it Wow? Is it Bantu? Is it Malakal? Is it Reng? Is it WA? Send us your comments and we'll be very glad to also read them as you as well share with us your own feedback about how we do things here. I will be going through shortly some of your comments there and there before we move to talk much about Qatar, not Qatar, but first talk about Attila Barra, Melekia, and Almeric, and of course a very good coach. That is none other than Leo Adra. We'll be looking at that. Before that, Peter Kwani is saying, well done, my friends at TFF, and KJ, that's a Kayaga John, of course, and Emmanuel Jr. by saying, transfer window is what we are discussing, and is what we're actually very interested in talking about. Emmanuel Jr. William Ball nearly saying, I'm really happy on a decision and keep that to ensure each and everyone. Thank you very much. Much Riak Garang is saying, please may I know who Munuki has traded, which player have they signed? So Munuki apparently is yet to sign a player. That I can tell you, Riak. Yes, Munuki is yet to sign a player. And this one is saying, Dennis Gatruit is saying, I am watching from Nairobi, please may I know the sign of Qatar FC. Thank you very much, Dennis from Nairobi. So Qatar FC, the Lobberers, have signed Wal Makwet Aken. Okay, he signed as a free agent from Mbarara City. This one is March Garang as well is asking. My question is that I heard of some news that we might have some South Sudan Premier League. Is there any possibility that it might be true? There was a discussion and consultations were done on a Premier League. SSFA is here to they set up a committee, by the way. The former Secretary General was there, is in that committee. That is Toby Williams. Is in that committee, and including some members that were initially announced by the South Sudan Football Association president, that is Agustino Madot Parek. So we're here to get that if the consultation has ended and if the report is ready, and then definitely we'll be able to find out if that league will definitely kick off or it won't kick off. So these were some of your comments.
If we look at what the league is being proposed, it's definitely going to come at some point.
Okay.
And the administration of the SSFA president is really pushing for it. But what they needed to agree on are the modalities.
Yeah.
You know, modalities of how this league can be set up.
Yeah.
How many teams can be starting the league, what are going to be, what will be the relegation criteria, and how do teams get promoted into the league, and as well, where will the current local leagues remain, and what happens to the winners of these current local leagues.
Yeah.
At some point, if we look at it, there's still going to be a national league somewhere. Even if we have the Premier League, there's still going to be a national league, because you're going to have the champions of the local football associations
perhaps to get promotion,
to get to the national league to compete for a promotion to the Premier League. So the modalities that are currently happening might still be in place when the Premier League is initiated. But as it is, and from the reports that we are getting, this Premier League might be effected sometime soon.
Okay, it might be effected sometime soon. Consultations, like we said, is still ongoing, and finding out modalities on how the league should be running, and so many things. How do teams get relegated? How do teams get promoted? Some of the modalities that we believe that the committee that was formed will be looking forward for. So as we move on with the points at which clubs really need to strengthen it, let's go to Attila Barra FC, one of the fine teams. 2015, they almost went into the next round of the CAF Champions League. I remember when they played Breakum Chelsea of Ghana in that game that was played in Khartoum. They almost really went through, but were eliminated from sport kicks. 5-4 was how the game did end there. Looking at that club under Nicola Peter Orat as the head coach of Attila Barra, Kayanga John, initially you had a lot of players here and there. I had a joke with some of the technical benches of Attila Barra, and they're telling me that the only tallest player now in the team is Mutawakil Abdul Karim. But if you look at the whole setting, moderate, and that is where they have a lot of ball passing, and there the likes of Nelson Mandela, the likes of Mandela Malish. You also have Kenti, who is very good. He has that run. He's lefty-footed, and so many inclusions that were recruited during the December recruitment transfer window. Where do you think that club really needs to strengthen Kayanga John under Peter Nicola Orat?
It's one of the clubs that has got an exciting squad after the mid-season transfer window. When we witnessed new players coming in and a bunch of other players leaving the club, including Sunday that we talked about, ended up at Katura FC. The players that came in that Peter was able to bring from neighboring Uganda, because most of these boys were previously playing in Uganda. They came, looked to be exciting players, and they displayed some beautiful football at Bullock that most people whom perhaps might have watched that Labara playing at Bullock will agree that this is a squad. Perhaps maybe it was not for the last season, but this is a squad that can, if maintained together, will really give a real push come this season. They look to be a complete squad for that matter, but I still feel, yes, at some point they need a backup to Kamis Daniel in between the sticks. I think the Kenyan left, the goalkeeper. He's no longer at the club, so they need a serious backup to Kamis. I would still want to say at Labara need a central defender. They have fullbacks that are so good going forward and coming back.
Kenny is one of them.
Yes. Look at the midfield setup. Perhaps what they really needed right now is a holding midfielder, a replacement to Sunday. This is one thing. The impact that was created by his departure to Katura FC is still being felt. If they can go for a natural, a defensive-minded holding midfielder, then the squad that they have gotten in the mid-season transfer window, kept together, will really have a push. Going forward, they have the players. Attacking midfielders, they have the players. If these boys are all maintained and kept intact for the next season, the question is going to be, will the club be able to maintain these points? Because if we look at most of them, if things did not go well during their 6 months stay in Juba, will they be able to come back from Uganda from their holidays? That is another question. But they have commitment with the team. I don't know how many years they have signed some of them. Perhaps maybe 2 years, 3 years, 1 year with the club. If it is 1 year, then it should be coming to an end in December. So we still expect them at the start of the season. Are there players that will be leaving the club? Yes, I think Jimmy is one of them. He's out of contract. Because unless if the drama that he had with Munuketsi was signed in June and
the rats disappeared with the fire. I don't understand that scenario.
That is out of the contract. So there are certain number of players that perhaps might be leaving the club, and they definitely need a replacement for them.
Jimmy might likely leave in December if all goes well.
Yes, if that is, he feels now I still need to go. Sometimes you might change your mind and say, okay, let me remain. But since that incident of the failed transfer to Munuke FC, I think the boy has never been himself.
Surely.
Even when he's on the pitch, I remember in one incident he was introduced, and after 10 minutes he was again removed. Such things sometimes do
demoralize clubs.
Commitment of training and being committed to the team, I think that is already lacking from him. So maybe the coaches can decide, if his contract is over, let's let him go. We'll get a player that is going to fight for the club, for the color, someone who is going to be committed, who is going to be dedicated, because it looks like Jimmy's mind is no longer at the club. It's set on exiting the club. So Labara has got a very exciting squad, but still they need some few additions, a goalkeeper, holding midfielder for that matter, to me. And yes, few of other options which I think they already have, but you need backups, you need options. If player A is going to serve suspensions, who is there to step in? You know, you need someone that can step in and still deliver for you the results.
Okay, you need someone that can come off the bench and change a situation. For example, if you're drawing or if you're trailing, that kind of a player that can come and score for you goals in the last 9 minutes and to give you the victory that you deserve as a club. There's a speculation, Kayenga John, that they have already signed a player, and that name of the player will be telling you who he is after, of course, taking a break. But before that, let's talk about Almeric. But before talking about Merrick, let's talk about Melekia FC the Royals. We talked about how they have now brought in 2 new signings by the names of Vital Abdamalek, Vital Tabo, and then Kerjok into that midfield setup. I asked you yesterday if there's still another position that you feel they should strengthen in. And do you still have that same look at the Royals?
I still feel they need to add the defensive line. Melekia really needs a right back. I will keep on talking about that. Perhaps Coach Bilal knows what he needs in that position. They still need a typical, a good central defender. I like the boy they brought from board. He's a left-footed central defender.
Yeah.
So now they need a right-footed central defender.
Yeah.
And that will make a perfect match for Melekia FC at the back. They already have Debo Julius at the left-hand side of the defense.
Yeah.
You need a right back that will give you the balance from the right to the left of the attack. Up front, yes, they have signed Vitalis, just like you have mentioned. I still feel, you know, if I'm to be in his shoes, I know the management or the board really spent some good amount of money in assembling the current front line for Melekia.
Yeah.
But if I'm to come in right now, I think I'm going to do away with some of them. So that tells you that they still need reinforcement up front. We saw them signing Thok, who is a
midfielder,
holding midfielder, a defensive midfielder, who is really going to boost that area. Like I said last time, is one of the players since Wilson retired from Melekia. They have missed a service of a natural holding midfielder or defensive midfielder that distracts the play of the opponents. So if that is going to, they have already secured that. They need more of an attack-minded midfielder. They have Gama, who is still in the team. They have Abdallah, who is as well in the team that they signed from Nasser. He's a Future Stars Football Academy graduate. Bilal knows him quite well. So I think he wants to relieve him, him off the duties of defensive and move him a bit more in attack. They still have Lukudu, is commonly known as Laka. So they have this exciting players, but to me, they still need to add 1 or 2 more players in the striking line.
Okay, there is a team America there, the Royals. Kayenga John, as we move on into describing how these clubs really need to be strengthening in terms of their squad depth and see if they can also compete favorably, just like the way the Snakes have done this last season. So let me quickly go through, if you can allow me, go through some of the messages here. Thank you very much, by the way, those who have glued in to watch. This is a great show, the Drive program that comes every Sunday. That we're here to give you the latest coming from the sport and basically in the local scene. Okay, now this is Alfred, Almiga Alfred is saying thank you guys for the sports news. Thank you very much as well for watching in. So another that came in from Ajang Breton is saying he's watching us from Kampala. Ajang, I believe you're doing very well. You need to come back and strengthen Koreum FC, your team from Bor. Okay, this is Mareng, Maker Mareng. He's saying thank you for the update, watching live from Kabrak University in Kenya. Thank you very much for watching in. Sometime soon. I really like the statement. Much react there. All right. This one is Kogadet Bujok is saying, I am proud of you guys. Whoever came up with this idea is a genius. tkSPORTS is the best. We have the talent. We only need a peaceful environment to showcase our talent. Thank you very much for your feedbacks, and I believe that you can also be part and partial of this great show through sending in your comments or your feedback, and we'll be able to read them lively, and we definitely will also be able to say, okay, I also like it because you also read my feedback. Anyhow, let's move to the other side, and here comes Almeric Leo Adra. I remember when we did interview him, our colleague Kelly Abale was able to interview him, and he said that at times only 5 players come for training. Now, this is a club that you are competing to win a trophy. Is that a laxity? And where do you think really Coach Leo Adra need to be supported? Is Kamal still the secretary? Or he has, because there was speculation, he wants to tender in his resignations and move on. But we still believe that he's still part of the Almeric persons that really look at bringing this club.
They went on, an administrative general assembly, which was basically to present a reports of the season, financial administration reports that were presented to the assembly. I'm quite sure it was approved because it was successful. So the next thing is to do an elective general assembly, and that's where we will be knowing whether Kamal will still come back as the Secretary General of the club or not. According to reports, he's already committed to South Sudan Football Association national team committee. So dividing himself or the two responsibilities has become hard for him. So we might see a new secretary in place for Elmeric, but if he feels I can still continue with this, I think he might still be at the helm as SG. But yes, looking at Elmeric, this is one of the teams that have really derailed. The performance has been going down. And by appointing Leo Adra last year, he's now 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, because I saw the photo you and our colleague Kelly Abale took that day at the riverside. I don't know what you people ate that day. There was a reminder of that photo today. So it came into my mind, Leo Adra, exactly today is 1 year at the help of Elmeric, and it was a 1 year contract. So even the coach it's not yet confirmed when it will
be extended or not.
So these are possibilities, but if we look at his recommendations, whether he remains or not, yes, looking from the statistics, you can agree with him. Elmeric managed to score the entire season out of 22 games, only 24 goals.
So that is worrying.
This is a team that wants to fight for the title. You score 24 goals in total. Or out of 22 games, then you concede 21. That tells you they need to do a lot defensively and attack-wise. So I would say Merrick need to reinforce in defense, 2 or 3 players in that defense. They need midfield reinforcement, 1, 2, or 3, if that is possible, depending on the financial status as well of the club. Attack-wise, yes. If we look at some of the goals that they have scored, Kemsi Leon still comes off the bench to notch some of those goals. And I remember one those notable goals was against the title contender. And Merrick went on to win by a single goal. And he scored that goal coming off the bench. And if I'm not mistaken, that was against Meleki or Kato, if I can remember that goal quite well. So Kemsi Leon, yes, he's still a top player, experienced player for that matter, but age is also catching up with him. His body can no longer do things that he used to do in 2011, 2012, 2013, up to the time when he was with Atlabara. Why? Because the age is going, so they need reinforcements up front. Another department that Elmeric really needs to go for, and he needs 2 or 3 players, is the goalkeeping department. They really suffer at that end. We know the Nigerian is supposed to return, but he's called off the retirement because they have no options. So I think they still need to sign 2 quality goalkeepers, and that should be trained by the outgoing goalkeeper and should be at their best. So Merrick should be one of the busiest teams that I expect going into this window, and I see, or I anticipate them to sign 7 to 8 players, even more than that. If you want to have 2 goalkeepers in the team, and perhaps 2 or 3 defenders that you need, then midfielders and attack, then you are going to have a good number of players. If you cannot get that at once this window, then prioritize. You can either prioritize the defense and the goalkeeping department, then maybe a striker. You leave the midfield for now. In the mid-season, budget for midfielder and other departments that you needed to add. So I think it's all about priorities. You cannot build the squad, like I said last time, at once in one window. No, it cannot be possible. You need to build bit by bit, and it will become a process for that rebuild of the team. And that means you need the coach who identifies and recommends that we need to build these areas. Give him much more time, give him the resources, let him build the team.
All right, give him the resources, give him that time, and he will definitely build the team, is what the World Clan has just said. And I think it has to really go deep into whoever is watching. If you are also be watching this program later on, you will definitely have this message cutting across. That is Al Merrick FC, the team under Leo Adra, a coach that did coach the Bright Stars at some point, took this team to Mali, if I'm not mistaken. He was also a coach of the Uganda Cranes at some point. That is a coach Leo Adra. He did also coach Unduparaka FC. He went all the way up to Paida Black Angel. So he has that pedigree, he has that history that you also need to know about Leo Adra. We'll be going for a break. But before we go for that break, this one is a Cake Rich Ball. I say is watching us from Bor Town. Thank you very much, our viewers from Bor Town. I believe that you guys are doing very great that side. The next time we go to Bor, we'll definitely need fish. Anyway, we'll be going for a very short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about how 2 of our players have been engaged, and they are champions, by the way. And here we'll talk about Tusker FC of Kenya, who, of course, David Chan is a champion. And we'll talk about Wani Ivan Adebo, who also won a trophy today. We'll be talking that, and that will come after this short break. Welcome back from that short break. And I was still glad that you're watching tkSPORTS Drive program every Sunday. Still with Media Studios, Kayaga John, and like we said before we went for the break, I did say earlier on that we have two confirmed. They'll be competing in the continental competitions. Let's go to Kenya first before going to Kampala. I'll talk about how one of the games went down there, and that is a Masindi. In Kenya, Tusker FC, the team for that is David Chan Majak, has won the Kenyan Premier League trophy now for the 13th times. They are almost near to Gor Mahia. So this time they will be representing Kenya if the ban is lifted anyway, okay, by CAF and FIFA. Then they will be representing Kenya in the CAF Champions League. What do you make of that, Kayenga?
It's a great achievement for the player and for the club. Congratulations to Tusker FC. But yes, like I said last time, when you are summoning up players for the national duty, you need players that have gained experience at the continental tournament. CAF Champions League, CAF Confederations Cup is another. If you have players that compete regularly or at most seasons in these competitions, yes, they bring the experience back. And I think this time around we will be having more bright star players in the competition. There is going to be another for Zesco United.
For Zesco United, yeah.
So if we look at and of course maybe
that Stephen as well for Vipers.
As well. Yeah. Now you have Bull FC. Wane Ivan is going to be taking part. You have David Majak. And of course, not forgetting the teams that are going from South Sudan.
Yeah.
Both in South Sudan, in CAF Confederations Cup and and you have Zaza FC of Rumbek. So there will be good number of players. Perhaps if we look at the chances of the players that can compete at the later stages of the competition, you would rate maybe Makers Zesco, and then you never know what Tusker will be doing, and Bull FC, which I think is going to be their first time at the Continental.
Sure.
So there are a lot of things that will be happening for the Bright Star squad members that are representing their respective clubs. So it's a really positive one for David Majak.
Okay, a very positive one there for that is David Majak Chan, who was actually part of the Bright Stars team that did played against Gambia and Mali in the 2-day Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers 2023 Ivory Coast. Let's move on and we cross to the other side here over this region, East Africa, and talk about Bull FC, one of the teams that Wane Ivan, like we said earlier on, is playing for his trade. He was also part of the senior team that did play against Gambia and Mali. And here you are. He crossed from Busoga United, a club that he has been playing there for some time. Before that, he did play for Maroons FC, a team that is competing in the FIFA Big League. And he went on to Busoga. From Busoga, he crossed on to Bulls. By the way, they are rivals. At some point, they were using one pitch, and that was Bugembe Stadium in Jinja. But now, day to day, first Vipers, the champions of the Uganda Premier League, beating them comfortably by 3-1. Although Wane Ivan started on the bench, he was not introduced. I believe the coach also understood him. That is Alex Ishabre, one of the tacticians that personally I also know him. Didn't introduce because of the national engagements. For the first time this time, a team from Eastern Uganda, Jinja per se, will be going to the continental competitions.
It's a positive one, and congratulations to them. Coming up against the already crowned champions of the local league that you faced in a two ties of the league, home and away, and they are the champions. This is the third time you're coming up against them. This time around in a finals, yes, they're already in that celebratory mode. They want to add another title to the already silverware that they have won or concluded the season with. We see these scenarios when players are still in celebratory mood.
Yes.
After being crowned champions, you are still having that feel. Yes.
Feel to good factor.
We are the powerhouse. We're the champions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I was watching a clip of Inter Milan fan getting himself on a train full of AC Milan fans, and how they made it uncomfortable for him, saying he should be clapping that AC Milan are on top of Milan. So if you have a champion that you are coming up against, they expect you to respect them because they are the champions of that particular league.
Yeah.
So, but credit to Bolo FC because they did not take it that way. They said, yes, you are the champions, but we feel this time around we can also be the champions. And they displayed the game that they displayed today against the champions. And like you said, winning by 2-goal margin, that is 3-1 on the score sheet. It's a great one. Wani Ivan is one of the consistent performers for both South Sudan. And he has also been performing for the club as well.
Since the older days of under 23,
yes,
2018.
Since he made it through to the senior team, he has been a starter. The only worry that I have for this young lad is the change of position. It's something that really sometimes I worry about. To me, it's like it makes him not to express himself at the fullest. Because at the club level, he plays forward. And when he comes back to the country, we have seen him of recent being deployed as a left back.
Sure.
That to me is a bit of a call. Yes, players love being versatile, being deployed at different positions. But if we want them to do their best and give their best, we should use them at their rightful or preferable positions. And that is where we can get the best out of these players. But nonetheless, he has always done his best when he's called upon to be deployed in the left back. We see how best he has been performing for the country. So going with Bull FC to the CAF Confederations Cup, I think it's going to be a learning experience for him to come up against some of the best teams as well in the continent. It's going to be an exciting thing to see. Coming up against some of the tough defenders in the continent. Yes, you test yourself against them, you test your capabilities. It's where you have to measure the level that you have reached at in your career. So I think it's supposed to work to the player and the club as well.
Okay, a very positive one there for the club and player. Now, assuming there's a scenario that perhaps Bulls FC will be paired up against Azalan FC of Rumbek. I would just feel how Wani Ivan will be feeling facing Azalan FC of Rumbek in this scenario.
The one going
Al Hilal rather, sorry, Al Hilal of Wow, since they'll be the
against the
task against Zalan. So the whole communication will be getting it and telling his teammates that they're saying this. So you need to, that is, okay, it's an advantage, but we don't preempt for that anyway, because the last time we had that discussion at Labara, we were paired against Al Hilal of Egypt. Something that was we didn't actually expect that to happen, but it did happen. Anyway, that is all about these clubs and how our players are doing their trade in East Africa. Congratulations for them once again, Tusker FC and as well as Bull FC of Ginger for winning your accolades respectively. Let's move to transfers, Kayanga John. I'll talk a little bit about how some of the players which are rumored to be moving here and there. Now, the player for Munich FC, who was formerly for Munich FC, that is Malong Anger, there is a rumor that the locally transfers rumors now has been put on hold because it has been linked to the club all the way in Latvia.
Yesterday, we were talking about it during the extra time, and if you have, a possibility of moving out, perhaps to play in a league that is way high than the league that we have in the country, you take it as an opportunity because you are going to experience a totally different challenges ahead of you. The facility level is different. The competition of the league is going to be totally different. That is where you keep on growing in your talent. You need to give yourself a new challenge. If that is to be true, or perhaps it's something that can materialize for him, whether it's just the trials or they have already agreed to sign him, I think could be a positive move for Rihanna.
Okay.
So if that is to go through, yes, the unfortunate part is Munuki is going to get nothing out of the deal because he's a free agent.
Sure.
I would want to see this happening when the club is having a contract with the player.
Sure.
And the club earns something from the sale of the player, because that is the direction we want the clubs to go to, because you need to make a player is an asset for the club. So if you are letting your asset go, you must get something in return in a monetary value.
Okay.
So unfortunately, the club might not get something out of this. But if we move locally or it goes outside, still Munki is not going to benefit anything out of it. So it's really absurd for Munki club.
And I think that brings us to a discussion that we had in a different platform about how we need to be changing the transfer rules and regulations. A player who is on contract can still move to another club as long as a club has come knocking that we need the services of such a player.
I was impressed to hear of such of recent Rainbow engaging Viva Star because they want one of their player who is still under contract, and the two clubs are willing to negotiate. That should be the way to go. You know, if I know I have a player A and his contract is running out in the next 2 transfer windows, and I engage him to renew. If the player says, let's wait until that time when the transfers are over, then we shouldn't, I will be thinking otherwise. And the direction that I will be thinking too, one is going to be, I need to let the player go.
Sure.
You know, I should be talking to the representatives of the player. You know, if the player the representative can get favorite, clubs that are coming for his signature, we get to negotiating table and we let the player go, because instead of me losing the player for free that I've invested so much in, it's a pity. I rather allow the player to move to a club and we get something, no matter how small it is, but it will help club in one way or the other.
Okay.
Even help you in replacing the player.
All right. There is a Malong Rihan Anyer. His move apparently is now going into some gears. And if he moves to Latvia, it will be perhaps a blow to that is Adeloveras Qatar FC, because it has been a club that has been linked heavily with the move for the right back. Now, let's go to Michael Duarte Omar. Apparently, reports are also coming in is that Al Hilal of Wavu have come knocking for his signature. Remember that this club is also going to be competing in the CAF Confederations Cup.
You would expect such to happen. By the fact that they are going to participate in the CAF Confederations Cup, they need players that they will feel will boost their squad. And if they feel Omar is one of the players that they can come for and maybe splash the cash and meet his demands, and the player is interested to move that side, you know, what I wouldn't love to hear, the player is going for 6 months, you know, pay him for 6 months because you just want him to play in the preliminary round against the opponent that he might be facing. It wouldn't make sense. If we only sign players because we are going to participate or compete outside, then it makes no sense. I should be signing a player to build a squad.
Sure.
You know, I need to build a squad that is going to be achieving success consistently, or maybe for the next few years to come. But if I'm to build a squad just for a specific outing, then it will make no sense. If I'm to spend 15 or 10,000 US dollars on a player that I just need his services for the next 6 months, why can't I sign players that will play with me for 4 years and they spend that amount of same money on 4 or 5 of those players? You know, that would make much more sense than signing a player for 6 months for a specific period of time for a task. And at the end of the day, what are your chances that you are going to make through? You know, these are things that we can try to analyze and see forward.
Okay.
But if the player is willing to join them on a long-term basis, and whatever demands that he puts on the table, that the club is ready to meet the demands, why not? They can sign him.
Okay, why not? They can sign him if you have the money. cop it out, and definitely you'll be able to capture the player that you require for. Let's go quickly to that is Agudelo FC, because one of their prolific forwards, and like we did pronounce earlier on, that he was the second top goal scorer of the Juba Local League, and looking at the trend of these clubs that we did talk about, the 6 clubs, where do you think should Along Obeng be landing this side? Because he's a free agent. Do you think he will extend his stay to Del FC, or you feel that this is the right time now he should move on, just like the way Angelo did left for Munich?
You know, this is one of the clubs that I fear most for ahead of the new season. This was more or less the same scenario Nasr FC started 3 or 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
You know, the structure of the board is not in place. You find one individual acting as the leader of the club, trying to make the ends meet for the team. You know, maintaining the training activities and schedules, trying to provide finances to facilitate the trainings, teams traveling for games, you know, trying to meet the demands of the players. Yes, he's a free agent, his contract has come to an end. If Gudele do not sit down and come up with a proper structure, new members that will act as the board of the club, I see them losing most of the players. Even those who are under contract might decide not to come for trainings. You know, if you're not going to facilitate them or perhaps meet their requirements, some of them might not turn up for training. And we saw what happened to Al Nassr. They tried at the last moment to save the team, but it was too late.
It didn't work out.
You know, you cannot wait at the last moment that you are trying to bring every other resource to save this team from the collapse. It is going to be difficult. And the best thing to do is to save it right now when it gets to that stage. And if of course, he's a free agent, any other top team can come for this young lad. You know, he's an exciting player to watch. His dribbling skills, one-on-one with defense, is good at that. He's one of the best strikers that you can look at, or wide players or attack or front players, that one-on-one with defenders, he's so good. He's a goal scorer. So another top club can come for this boy. Robinho, as commonly known. So these are the opportunities that we are talking about, the likes of Melekia that needs to reinforce up front. Amarat United is another. We talked about Munuki needs a natural striker, though he plays more of a winger. So there are clubs that can go all-heartedly for this young lad, and they still add to their ranks.
Okay, all right. Those clubs that are as well, the administrators who are watching this show, you definitely have another person that you need to catch him before another club will also come for his signature. That is none other than the captain of Agudelo FC along that side. So, looking at the transfer, Kayenga, really looking at how teams are doing their dealings here and there, it's a little bit so slow. Not so sure if it's the finances that is making it go so slow, or the nature of players that are available for recruitment.
It's combination of factors. You know, in most cases when you go to the transfer market, it's not only in South Sudan, but across. You know, you need to put certain factors into play. One is, it's not only the club to agree, because you need the player's approval. You need to negotiate with the player. Like I always say, the player normally have the liberty to look at the offers that he has got on the table. So you might not be the only team that is vying for his signature services. So he's going to be very relaxed in taking decisions. You know, he has his representatives, or he has people that he talks to, and they keep on, some of them keep on telling them, you know, wait a little bit, wait and push these guys if they can give you a higher figure than what they are promising to pay you. So it's a lot of, it's combination of factors. Sometimes the clubs do not have the requirements that the players are asking for, and they are keeping on engaging the player to negotiate whether he can come down with his demands based on what they can be able to raise for the signature of a specific player. So a lot of things come into play. But of now, we are beginning to see that the big teams are coming to sign players. Maybe they are targets that they have been chasing. So this coming week we might see the transfer intensified.
Okay.
Actually, we might be seeing the top clubs coming to sign those surprises that we have all been waiting for. I'm quite sure will begin to happen this coming week. Because we have already started seeing the glimpses this week.
Okay.
Towards the end of this week, Rainbow going to sign 2 players. Melekia yesterday signing 2 top players. Katur today as well signing, of course, Makweth Wall. So on Monday, tomorrow, we might see more.
Atilabara also confirming one.
Atlabara is confirming one signing as well today. So tomorrow we might see the likes of El Merik, the likes of perhaps maybe Gudele, if they already have a body.
Or even Katur making another addition.
Another Melekia as well. So we might be seeing more faces coming into some of these clubs.
All right, we might be seeing many faces coming into this club. Quickly going through some of the messages here and your comments and your feedbacks. You guys need to also start hosting the SSF president, SSBF president, Kickboxing Federation president, head of the Olympic Committee, National Volleyball Federation, volleyball. We the fans have direct questions that we need to ask them. This will come your way. It is just a matter of time, and definitely we'll be able to host such dignitaries here in the studios of tkSPORTS, and you'll be able to have that chance of asking that burning question that has been burning you, and eventually it's not moving out. That is a much Ria Garang. Thank you very much. Dennis is asking, will the first division games be taken back to the stadium after the completion, or is it going to remain at Bullock Sports Center? So these are directives, or these are suggestions that we are yet to wait from SSF here, perhaps.
Yeah, but if we look at it, the stadium is going to be directly under South Sudan Football Association, just like Bullock, but they have allowed games to go on.
Yeah.
Maybe if the stadium is up and running, they can get into an agreement with Juba Local Football
Association
and host some of the big games at the
stadium.
Because this could be one of the sources of income to the clubs. The stadium can host more, and it is in a more controlled way. And every player would love to play at Ichufe Stadium.
Surely.
That is the dream of every player.
Especially if you're in that locker room. Things look very magnifying and magnificent. Anyway, let's go for a very short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about a little bit of African stories, because Kayega Joel Matip wants to come back to the Cameroonian national team. But Samuel Eto'o is saying, my friend, when we were requesting you to be part of the team, you decided to show us your back. At this time, the team is going to the World Cup in Qatar. You're saying you want to come back. Your time is done. We'll be talking much more about that, what the implication is, especially to some of the players that when they are called into the senior teams, they take their own time to come back. Short break, we'll be coming back. Keep it there.
I'm 28 years old. I'm single. I used to play the weekly games, the one of jackpot. The pictures of the jackpot and the pictures of the lottery, they are like the one of the week and the one of the daily. They are very nice and there is no pending on it. So I choose to take lottery instead of jackpot, so that I will get every day. They just tell me, really, if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I play online. It's just 200.
Just 200. And you become a new millionaire of GSB lottery in South Sudan.
More than exciting. I'm really feeling my life up now. At least I've changed now with GSB. Thanks to GSB. Now plan for a business, like my new business.
By grace of God, we will lead you. You are back with a big family, and we are happy for that. So, Philip, I want to express now our appreciation. You see how we are exciting exactly like you. Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations. God bless you and lead you to do just good thing with being a new millionaire in South Sudan GSB lottery. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, welcome back from that short break, and we are glad that we are almost coming into the conclusion of this great show, the Sunday Sports, and we talk about the Drive program. Okay, Joel Matip, the Liverpool centre back, is saying he's ready for Cameroon, and Samuel Eto'o is saying your time is over. What do you make of that remarks?
Do Cameroon really need Joel Matip? If we look at the setup of the team, they already have options. They have players that have been playing there. They had players that won the AFCON in the absence of Joel Matip. You look at his time at Liverpool, the level of performance. Yes, Liverpool is a team that as a group they do perform well, but individually is Joel Matip at the top of his game. I think that can be questionable. So I don't see it as a strange response to his call. Having him in the squad, it would just disorganize the current setup of the team. So why not give the chance to the young lads that have already come through the setup of the team that have been playing for the past few years together?
Okay.
So I don't think you need to destabilize the squad. Because Joel Matip plays for Liverpool and won Champions League and FA Cup, Carabao Cup. I don't think it's something correct to do.
Okay, Kayanga John doesn't feel it is something good to do, especially when you have not been there, when we've been fighting, making all the qualification rounds here and there to make sure that we qualify the country into the World Cup. Anyhow, let's move with this story and talk about Robert Lewandowski. So, Manchester United has been one of the clubs that has been linked with a move for this forward, with, of course, Barcelona also having an edge in that. But there are news that perhaps Barcelona might drop the chance of signing Robert Lewandowski. Do you think it could be a very good signing for Manchester United in case he joins Old Trafford?
He is, I cannot say whether he will be a good signing or not. He is a proven goal scorer. He has been scoring goals season after season, after season. From Borussia Dortmund, then he went to Bayern Munich. He has been scoring goals for them. Coming to Manchester United, facing a different league, under different style of play, considering his age and the intensity of Premier League. These are all factors that you can put in. So Edinson Cavani coming to Man United is a top goal scorer in France for PSG. When he came to Man United, he really struggled. But this varies from a player to another. You know, there are players who do not need to adapt to the league, but the league adapts to them. It's because of their qualities that they have got in them. And we can't tell whether Robert Lewandowski will be a great signing or not. With Cristiano Ronaldo coming back, and he has been, to me, best goal scorer for United throughout the season. So having him as well in the squad together with Cristiano Ronaldo, how are you going to use the two? Because one will have to come ahead of the other. So it's going to be something that we will have to wait and see. But he's a top striker. There's no doubt about that. The only problem is he going to adapt well, considering his age right now, to the intensity of the Premier League.
Intensity of the Premier League is one of the best leagues to watch in Europe as well, and that is the English Premier League. Now let's move to Barcelona, because Ousmane Dembele has been told by the Barcelona hierarchy that he is set to leave if his contract comes to an expiry. Chelsea could be good news to them because they have been linked to the move for the French international. But of course, Romelu Lukaku saying, I think I also have to quit.
He could be a good addition to Chelsea, because Chelsea have got the new owner, the American owner. They will go all out to add players that they feel will be boosting the squad. And he is one of the exciting players to watch. And if we look at the current setup of the front players of Chelsea, yes, Dembele could go straight into the starting 11, because you're going to talk about Pulisic. You have the likes of Hudson, you have the likes of Tim Werner, you have Kai Havertz. So if you have Dembele, considering if he remains fit, you know, he has got this record of injuries here and there recurring, and a lot of time he spends in the treatment room. He can keep himself fit. for Chelsea will be a great deal and addition to the Stamford Bridge side.
Okay, now as we round up this transfer from Europe, as we as well water down the program, frankly, Barcelona, since they said they need 100 million, Manchester United is going with 65. That is an improved one from the 50 that they did table. Actually, from 30 now moved to 50, 50 now 65. Where do you think these young lads' price tag will end?
It's one way. It's just one way. Barcelona needs the amount that they have tabled or they have put on the player. They are not in a rush to sell the player. It's Manchester United that
one
desperately needs the player. So it's up to, will you be able to meet our asking price? If we can meet that, then we let the player go. You know, there are certain asking price, especially with the Spanish teams. They don't come less than that. You know, it's either you pay and get your player, or you go, you look for other alternatives. So United playing cool, saying we are now adding 60, we are going this, we are going that. They should be able to put something close to 100 million for Barcelona to talk. So I think if they can come close to 89, 90 something, then Barcelona will say, okay, let's see. How are you going to pay us?
Maybe
our asking price is this. Will you pay the remaining balance? You know, you get to the negotiating table, but it's still early. Know that transfer goes up to August, so they have got a lot to go. You never know, maybe Barcelona might get an option as they get along, and they feel he will be surplus to requirements, and maybe say, okay, let's accept whatever that United is putting on the table. So as of now, you cannot rule anything out. Because it's still a long way to go.
All right, as of now, you can't rule anything out, and it's a long way to go. Apparently, that story has brought us to the end of this program, and we'll talk about the tkSPORTS Drive Show that comes every single Sunday. But before that, Kayenga, John, your last submission as we walk out of the studios?
I just want to appreciate whoever that has been following the show from the start and always glued to tkSPORTS, appreciating whatever tkSPORTS is trying to do. Your support is what keeps us here and what gives us the direction to go. And thank you very much. Wishing everybody the best of the week. Let's link up again coming weekend.
Okay, let's link up again coming weekend. But remember that this Thursday we'll also be having a lot, and it will be a show that gives you every update when it comes to the transfers, and it will be in a local set. Like always, I say thank you very much, our crew guys who are behind the camera and are giving us all those glimpses, and to whoever is also viewing us. I know Kela Bale is also watching us from another angle. Thank you very much. And I can say, Kwaheri, good night in advance.
And then I see the pictures of the jackpot and the pictures of the lottery. They are like the one of the week and the one of the daily is they are very nice and there is no pending on it. So I choose to take lottery instead of jackpot, so that I will get every day They just tell me, really, if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy. I play online. It's just 200.
Just 200,
200.
and you become a new millionaire of GSB lottery in South Sudan.
More than exciting. I'm really feeling my life up now. At least I've changed now with GSB. Thanks to GSB. Now plan for a business, my new business.
By grace of God, we will lead you. You are back with a big family, and we are happy for that. So, Philip, I want to express now our appreciation. You see how we are exciting exactly like you. Thank you very much for your time. Congratulations. God bless you and lead you to do just good thing with being a new millionaire in South Sudan GSB lottery. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.